Good morning, good afternoon, good day, good evening, good night, wherever you are around the world. Thank you for joining this community call from SubQuery. It's our February community call. I know it's March 6th, of course, but this is our community call that kind of recaps what's happened in February. My name is James Bailey, and it's great to have you all here today. We've got a lot to cover, so we might as well jump straight into it. But of course, as always, if you have any questions, make sure you put them in the comment section wherever you're watching. If you're listening on Discord, for example, you can just put them in the general channel and all these different things. Feel free to ask your questions. If it's the right time, I'll answer it then and there. If it's not, I'll get to them at the end of the Q&A section. So make sure you put any questions in and we can answer them live. But let's begin. It's been a busy month for us in February. Of course, everyone is well aware of our launch day. We had a huge launch day with three main events. We had the Mainnet launch, of course, where we launched our Mainnet. We had our TGE, or token generation event, where we launched the SubQuery token and distributed it to thousands of wallets out there, both public sale investors, private sale investors, as well as setting up the foundation and getting it live. And of course, on launch day as well, on the 23rd of February, we also launched our first centralized exchange with ByBit. Let's kind of go into these one by one. So first, of course, the ByBit listing. This has been a huge success. ByBit is one of the leading centralized exchanges out there by volume. I think it's one of the top 4 at the moment by volume. It's a fantastic partner for us, an excellent exchange to work with. And we've been very happy to be supported by them and to have the SubQuery token pair be on there. If you want to trade SubQuery, again, SubQuery is a utility token, so it's not really for trading, but if you want to, then there are 3 places you can do that from here on. You can use ByBit, of course, and I'll put some links in the chat soon. But there's also 2 Uniswap pools that have liquidity in them, and they're probably your best options. There's one on Ethereum, and there's also now, as of yesterday, a new liquidity pool on Uniswap on Base. So it saves you the trouble of having to bridge assets between Ethereum and Base. You can also trade your SubQuery tokens on Base. So just a reminder, there's 3 places. The first one, of course, is ByBit. Link is here. And then there is one on Uniswap on Ethereum. I think Suji's already actually put the links in. And then, of course, the Uniswap pool on Base. So those are great 3 places so you can trade that have a high amount of liquidity and market makers operating. The next thing for us, of course, on that day, on the 23rd, was, well, the next thing I want to talk about actually is something that's been going on for some time, and that's our Seekers program. This is a wildly successful program to try to distribute 50 million SQT to our community through various different challenges. Now, it's been wildly successful, okay? As of just before, there's over 287,000 participants. 287,000 participants. That's an insane number. So there's a lot of people on there. Don't fret. It is still very early. The program runs the 10th of April. So rewards will only be paid out after the 10th of April. So you have plenty of time to sign up and to complete challenges. I'm talking about challenges. We've added a bunch new ones as of the mainnet, and we'll be adding more as more features become available on the mainnet. So there's plenty of points to be rewarded and allocated from interacting with the mainnet. So feel free to get on the Seekers program right now. There's a bunch of Zelly rewards, and there's also a bunch of mainnet challenges. So there's a bit of thing. There's something for everyone, really. Now, talking about Seekers, of course, 280,000 people. Of course, some of those are bots. So we've said for a long time that we're going to be very careful about bots. And one of the ways we're going to do that is we're going to be doing KYC. We've just kicked off the KYC process, where the way that works is that if you want to receive rewards from the SubQuery Seekers Challenge, we will only provide rewards to the accounts that have KYC'd by the 10th of April. Now, you can complete KYC today. Over 12,000 people have already completed KYC with us. We are aware that there is a lot of people having some issues with KYC. So one issue that people have, for example, is, well, let's just kind of go into the steps. So the first question is, When do I need a KYC before? It's before the 10th of April. So you have plenty of time. You have over a month, or still over a month to complete KYC. It's a very basic KYC, just a proof of liveness and proof of documents and identity. You have until the 10th of April to do that. And the reason to do that, of course, as I said, is to eliminate bots so that we can make sure the SubQuery token airdrop from the Seekers Challenge is going to the right participants. The second point is, why did all my invites and all my points disappear? Like, a lot of people asked this last week. Like, they had thousands and thousands of points, but they disappeared for some reason. And now they didn't disappear. Your points remained and stayed there. What disappeared was we adjusted the referral bonus to only count the referrals that you've made that have completed KYC. So if you had referred 1,000 bots and none of them can complete KYC, then your referral multiplier would have gone down back to 0, okay? So if you've referred people, please ask them to complete KYC, because until they complete KYC, you don't get the bonus of their referral to your points. So your points still exist, but you don't get the multiplier, the bonus, until your referrals complete their own KYC process. Now, a lot of people have asked, I've submitted and completed KYC. It was complete, it was approved, but I log into the website, it's still saying you've yet to complete KYC. Now, the issue here, so there could be two things. The first thing is we only update the KYC status in Seekers once every few days, okay? We try to do it every 2 or 3 days. So please be patient, wait a couple of days. If it's not completed, then issue 2. Make sure the email address in your Seekers account matches the email address that you have completed KYC for. They have to match. They have to be the same email address. If they're not the same email address, there is a support form on the bottom right of the screen where you can submit a request to change your email. So if you have KYC with a different email address to what you have in the Seekers program, please submit a support request to change your email. Okay, and then we can sync up the KYC via your email correctly. Now, what should I do if KYC fails? It's happened to a few people. We're working on a process for this. We've had a couple of hundred people ask us already. We're trying to work out a process to go through this one by one and check and try to approve who we can. So please be patient. Complete the support form. There is an option there that say that KYC failed, and we'll get to you at some point. Don't panic. I know there's a lot of people asking this question, but please take your time. And then, do I need to pass this KYC if I've already passed KYC in a public sale or any other sale, perhaps? So again, we match up historic KYC via email. So if your email is different in the Seekers program to what is there on the previous KYC, it's not going to match. So please make sure the email addresses between what you have KYC'd and what the Seekers program says are the same email. If they're not, submit a support request to change your email. Okay, I think that's most of the questions. Again, a lot of people are asking about issues around KYC. I can't help you right here. There's hundreds of you. Please submit the form. Take your time. There's a question where I can get USDC on Base. Well, many exchanges support USDC, also the bridge. There's many places. Maybe Google or look at the Base documentation of where you can access USDC. Again, this one here has passed. When they open the web, it still asks KYC again. Wait a few days for us to update the KYC status in the Seekers database. And B, if that doesn't happen, make sure your email address and the KYC matches what it is in the SubQuery Seekers program. And remember, the support form is here. Okay. Now, just a reminder before we go on, we've also done another airdrop. So we airdropped in the past people that were mainnet participants and ambassadors, and a few other people that won airdrops in the past. The deadline for that is this Friday. Okay. Please go to claim.subquery.foundation. So it's claim.subquery.foundation. I'll put in the comments here. And check if you have tokens that you can claim, okay? Because if you don't claim them by this Friday, March 8th, at 11:59 p.m. UTC, If you don't claim them by then, we will reassign those airdrops. Okay, so you have 2 more days to claim, a little bit over 2 more days to claim the tokens. All right, next thing we're going to talk about is, let's say you've participating seekers and you've got some new tokens, or you've managed to bridge your tokens across, or you participate in a public sale, or you've just claimed an airdrop, or you're part of the lucky group that won the 100 Zeli mainnet challenges that we just announced a few hours ago and provided some claim tokens to. Let's say you're one of those. What are you going to do with your SubQuery tokens? Well, we highly recommend that you delegate them. You become a delegator today. Now, it's very easy. You can do it within minutes. All you need to do is have your tokens on base, and you can go in there and you can go into the application, and you can start delegating. I'll share my screen to show you how easy it is. So if I look at this is the dashboard for the SubQuery network. I go onto the delegator screen up here. I click on that, and I look at my indexes on the left-hand side here. And I can go down and I can look at all the different node operators or indexes, and I can choose which ones I want to delegate to. So for example, Validated.eth has got quite a high commission rate, 10%. It's got quite a good uptime. I might try to delegate to Validated.eth. I can click delegate here, and I can enter an amount. I've got 623 SQT in my account. So let's say I can delegate 600 SQT, and I click delegate, and I'll approve a transaction in my wallet, and then I've delegated to Validated.eth. That's how easy it is. Now, from that, you can start earning rewards. And now, a lot of people have been asking, when are rewards coming? I want rewards. Well, we're starting the first set of rewards. The first era started on Friday last week. So the rewards, every era lasts 1 week, and you don't earn rewards for the era for any delegation until after the week finishes. So the first era started last week. By the way, there's already over 50 million SQT that has been staked and delegated. 50 million SQT. It's a lot of SQT already. And they've been delegated and staked to various projects. And from this Friday, when the first era finishes, and you can kind of see when the era finishes by looking at the dashboard, and the top right here, it says the current era ends in 2 days, 1 hour, and 16 minutes, which is Friday. And then from then, I'll start earning certain rewards, okay? Now, people have been asking, what is APR, APY? We're trying to figure that out ourselves. I think we'll know very soon. We'll be modeling that internally. But our aim is that it's quite high to start with. We have it high at the start until we find the right medium where indexes are covering the costs correctly and earning a bit of profit. But the SubQuery network is cost efficient, so it's very cost competitive. All right. There's some questions I want to answer here. Actually, I'll come back to these questions because I'm a bit general. But anyway, so don't forget to start delegating your tokens already. Now, people might ask, hey, I've got my tokens on Polygon, or I've got my tokens on Ethereum, and I want to delegate them. I want to use them in the network. How do I get them to base? Now, the easy answer, there's an official bridge for SubQuery. It's very easy to use. For example, you go back to the application, and up here you go to bridge, and I can bridge tokens from Ethereum to base, or from base to Ethereum, very easily using this official bridge terms. Now, yes, people are true. There are some very high gas fees in Ethereum right now. Of course, we're in a bit of a bull cycle in the last week. I don't know if you guys have been watching the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. It's kind of going through the roof. And what that means is high gas fees. And what we're doing is we're providing a 100% rebate, which is a refund of the gas fees that you incur bridging tokens. So if you bridge tokens from Polygon to Ethereum, or from Ethereum to base, we will 100% refund the fees that you incur from bridging those tokens. So it means it costs you nothing. Now, there's some terms and conditions. Please read them, check, and that's how you apply. We've already paid out, I think, about 100 different people from bridging tokens. People have complained that there is a bit of an issue. This is the official Braze bridge, so we can't really change much about it, but we have noticed that the estimation in MetaMask for the fees is always a lot higher than it needs to be. So some people have started a bridge, and they've seen a gas fee estimate would have been like $200. It's always a lot higher than what it actually is. It generally is around somewhere between $30 and $50. It's on average what we've been seeing so far. Now, maybe there is some periods of super high gas fees, but if we look at the last 100 people to apply for the rebate, most of them, the gas fees are around between $15 to $40. Okay, so sometimes MetaMask gives you an incorrect estimation. I don't know what I can do about that. I'm sorry, but we are trying to cover that. Even if it is over the limit of 60, still apply for the rebate, and we might decide later if we increase that limit. We're just seeing how much happens, because it is unfortunate that the gas price has increased quite a bit in the past week. But just reminded everyone that there is, until the end next week, there is free gas for bridging between Polygon Ethereum and Ethereum to Base. So don't miss out on that. Now, I want to talk a bit about the whole phases of the network launch. Now, we're kind of, essentially what's happened is we are now at phase 1. We've just completed phase 1. So we've launched the mainnet with some data indexing. We've migrated some projects from Kepler. We've launched a token. We've opened the app. It's now usable. But we're starting to get onto phase 2, which is supporting RPCs. And then next after that would be phase 3 and 4. Now I want to go to phase 2. Let's focus on phase 2 right now, which is supporting RPCs, and which we've always talked about in the roadmap. We're saying that's in March. Now in phase 2, we've kind of got 4 different sub-phases, let's say. The first one is syncing RPCs. That's now. Our indexes and node operators are already busy syncing Ethereum and Base nodes. They have both archive and full nodes, and you can actually see that in our Explorer here. If I go to our Explorer and I switch over to RPC endpoints, hang on, I'm having a little issue with my internet here. Sometimes. I'll come back to this. I can see there will be a list of 4 projects in there. 2 from each, 2 from Base and 2 from Ethereum. We're adding some more ones soon. Other EVM chains like Polygon, Ethereum's Polio, the testnet, Arbitrum, and others. But phase 1 is about getting RPCs synced and available on the network, and that's happening right now. Index is already doing that. Phase 2, which is beginning next week, is we're going to start with exposing public endpoints. So we're going to take these RPCs that are already running on the network, and we're going to put publicly funded RPC endpoints online. The foundation will sponsor them with our main incentives, and we'll be able to put it out there on the internet and get real traffic coming into decentralized nodes that are running on the SubQuery network. This will allow us to test the load balancing, test the ability of our network to scale, or test how good our indexes are at running these RPCs. It will allow us to really learn a lot about this, but also get real-world traffic through the SubQuery network. It will allow us to start giving away endpoints to potential future customers. Okay, so publicly funded public endpoints will be going live next week. Phase 3, which is probably around mid-March, so maybe not next week, but the week after, we'll be launching pay-as-you-go flex plans. So this basically means that anyone can go onto the SubQuery application, they can sign up, they can, within a few minutes, they can get their own private endpoint, pay for a plan with their own rate limits, and they can get that online very, very soon. So basically can replace a traditional RPC provider like Infura or Chainstack, just like they can do so with those guys. They'll be able to go into our application just as easy, deposit some tokens into a billing account, and get a pay-as-you-go RPC endpoint from any of our indexes. And then phase 4 is coming back to the main roadmap, which is the data node. And that is planned to be done by the end of this month. We will allow the SubQuery data node, which is an optimized version of the RPC, to run on the network, which will unlock a lot more performance improvements. Okay, so this is our kind of development roadmap for RPCs on the network, which will unlock a huge amount of traffic into the network. A lot of users will come to the network for this, and it means that we're really delivering on our goals and our vision of building a scalable, reliable, decentralized infrastructure alternative. So just to remind you, this is kind of what we're dealing with, okay? So at the moment, SubQuery, we're kind of sitting there, we just launched. We are trying to do what the graph does, but also what other decentralized RPCs are doing, all on one network. And we're very close to it. Next week we'll have RPCs launched. We already have data indexes launched. And we'll be able to really capture all these users that live in both of these spaces. So the graph currently has, this figures out data, I think it's about $3 billion market cap right now. Anchor's also, I think, $500 million. We're going to do what both of those do combined. Okay, and that's what we're trying to do. This is the opportunity that we have ahead of us. All right, let's change tack away from the network a bit. I want to talk about our SDK. We launched a bunch of new networks this week. We're now up to 159 networks now supported by SubQuery. I was hoping to get 160 this week, but we missed it by one. But we've got a bunch in the pipeline already. And we're doing a lot of work with roll-up as service providers to onboard new networks as soon as they go live. So it's very exciting for us. 159 new networks now supported by SubQuery. Two notable ones this week, Arai Chain and IoTX, are two big networks that we've added support for recently, and a couple of customers with Ninja Blaze, Stake Hut, and Soulbound. And many, many more have gone live with SubQuery in the past month. I want to now talk about our team. We've sent Brittany and Marta, who I think a lot of you guys would recognize, all the way to ETHDenver this last week. ETHDenver is one of the biggest conferences in the States. Apparently it was very, very good this year, very busy. And both Marta and Brittany were representing SubQuery. You can see they have a little booth there one day at ETHDenver, talking to a lot of customers, especially in the States, and very much representing our team very well. It sounds like it was pretty cold out here over in ETHDenver, but I hear it was a very fantastic, excellent event. Even Marta did a presentation at a infrastructure summit day, and also a few workshops with various partners like Metas, for example. So we've got a lot of invitations from different layer one networks out there to do workshops and presentations to different teams, because a lot of the layer ones, for example, they come to us and they realize that SubQuery is one of those key infrastructure tools that their ecosystem needs. So actually we can, I think next week we should add a slide which lists out all the different places and other people's documentations where SubQuery is listed. So for example, Immutable this morning added us to their documentation where they wrote a guide of how to use SubQuery to build an app on Immutable. These are the kind of examples where we're partnering with layer ones to make it easy for their community to build applications on their chain. I know Marta met a few people. I don't know, did you meet Marta, Jim? And maybe Crypto Channel Chasey also met them as well, or ran into them. This is the left side is the Astar team. I think the Astar team are launching a new mainnet today, which is super exciting, or in the coming days, and we'll be there to support them. And also Martin from Tunoa, who's been a long-time customer of us. Now, coming up in terms of this next month, Marta and Nicholas will be at Sub-Zero in Thailand. So if you're in Thailand, if you're heading to Sub-Zero, say hi to them. If you're not making it to Sub-Zero, but you're in Bangkok, maybe hit them up, let them know, because they will, I'm sure they'll be happy to meet you in Bangkok. Now, one thing I want to share is we're doing a new program. We've got a huge community and it's growing every day. But there's a lot of questions out there and a lot of people have been very helpful and very supportive of people. From here on out, we're doing a weekly SubQuery community member of the week. So basically every week we're going to be picking a community member that has been the most helpful. So they could be contributing by answering questions in Discord or Telegram or Twitter. They could be suggesting improvements to us. They could be solving some tech issues. They could be providing help to other developers, for example, answering questions. They could be assisting at events. We're going to be picking them. We're going to be naming them, and we're going to be giving them a weekly award for the top member of SQT. I know we're going to say announcements every Friday, but we wanted to, because it's the first one, we wanted to say this week that the first SubQuery community member of the week, we're going to give it to Cesar, who showed up in ETHDenver and helped us a lot to show support, but also to take photos and also provide some support to Marta and Brittany while they're there. So thank you, Cesar, for supporting us and helping us. Let us know, send us a message, and we'll get your wallet address and send you some SubQuery tokens. And that was for last week. So next week, again, on Friday, Friday afternoon, we will announce the community member of the week on our Discord and probably on Telegram as well. So keep an eye out for that. Next thing, Zeli code. I know you guys are listening for Zeli codes because you'll be in the SubQuery Seekers Challenge and be earning points for your Zeli points. So remember, if you are in Zeli, make sure that you're also in Seekers, because you don't get SQT airdrops for Zeli, but your points from Zeli go to the Seekers, and then you get airdrops for Seekers. Okay, so make sure you have both. And the Zeli code word for this week is Mainnet launch. So make sure you fill that into Zeli, Mainnet launch. Or one word, and it's not case sensitive. Congratulations. The slides have been updated. I assume Suchi's going to put them into the chat here for an instant win of 500 XP on Zeli. Suchi, there to put in the chat. There we are. Matthias Peter Johansson. Congratulations. Please contact Suchi in the Discord community to get your Zeli reward. I think next week we can change this to a SubQuery tokens reward. The best thing about having a token launch is now we can actually use the tokens as a reward. So next week, let's change this to a token reward rather than a Zeli reward. Okay, Q&A. Feel free to go ahead with some questions. I know there's plenty in the chat channel here. If you have any questions, just put them in the chat. Otherwise, put them in the general channel in Discord. And if I'm lucky, I'll have some time to go through Telegram as well. There's a few questions with, let me just kind of go through there. Thanks, Matthias, for the mustache. Yeah, mustache is coming back, man. One day, maybe I'm a Kiwi, so from where I live, we also have mullets coming back into fashion. I'm not quite ready for that yet, but it could happen at some point. Be careful. Yes, some people, bridges, if you do have issues with bridges, I know that some people claim that they have. There are some third-party bridges that have been successful and worked. So, for example, Matthias points out that SuperBridge does work. It also worked for me for one of my transfers personally. I can't vouch for it. I can't vouch for any other bridges. But if you're having problems with one, maybe it's worth trying another. Question: when SubQuery Seeker airdrop? We will be doing airdrops after the program finishes on the 10th of April. So make sure you've KYC'd before then. You've got plenty of time to earn more points. Is it possible to increase the period when the gas rebate program will run for? It is expiring at the end of next week. Potentially, I'll talk to the team. We'll see how much tokens are still on different chains by that point, and we will make a call based on that. But yes, I understand the gas fees right now are very high, so it might make sense to wait a little bit longer. But of course, they might also just carry on going up, right? We are in a bull cycle. When will SubQuery tokens be listed on different exchanges? We're talking to exchanges. Actually, we've kind of we've basically agreed with another new exchange already. We're just working through some paperwork. Now, I can't tell you anything about this. So I mentioned this on our office hours last week. Exchanges are very, very sensitive for you announcing anything about a new listing. You can't announce beforehand anything about timing or what exchange, where it is, anything like that. And the contracts of exchanges, they will void anything if you mention anything beforehand. Okay, and the reason for this is insider trading. Okay, so we are extremely careful. We will never announce an exchange or mention exchange on a chat. The first time and the only time you should trust that a new exchange is announced is when both us and the exchange make official announcements on our official social media profiles. Okay, everything else is false news. Okay, I can't share this exactly when. I can't tell you this. I can say that we have added a new Uniswap pool on Base, which means now you can swap on a centralized exchange, but also on a decentralized exchange on both Ethereum and Base. And all those places have liquidity. So hopefully that solves a lot of the problems right now. Ardashoff, what will happen to the top 20 ambassadors? Good question. I will talk to the team about that. I think we'll have an ambassador call at some point to discuss that. Another question here, which is what will happen to non-distributed tokens? So I mentioned before that if you don't claim your airdrops by the expiry date, and for the initial kind of community airdrops, and the expiry date is on Friday night. Okay, so you have just over 2 days to claim. Do not be late. If you don't claim them, we will redistribute them. Now, we're trying to figure out what we do with them. One option is we might put them into the Seekers pool and make that 50 million pool even bigger. There's still a number of tokens that haven't been claimed. We may also just redistribute them to existing people that have claimed the airdrop. So at this stage, we're not sure. We'll decide and we'll announce it on Friday, depending on the size of what hasn't been claimed. Will it be possible to delegate tokens that are investing? I sent an email out to everyone about this that was involved. So check your email for me, maybe check your spam. But I mentioned some details about this in an email I sent to all the vesting token holders. We're working on it. Chazy, I just did a full run through of the roadmap for the technical side of the project. And if completely replacing RPC providers isn't cool enough, then I'm not sure what else is. This is a big question. How do you assess the dynamics of indexes transition to mainnet? I think people are understandably waiting for the first round of rewards before they decide to transition. There's an effort involved moving. We're not worried about 18. We want to start things sustainably and small. So I'd rather have 18 in the top indexes than 100 average indexes. So we want to make sure both the demand side and the supply side are increasing at the same pace. Otherwise, you get an imbalance. I don't know if it's related to token price. It's all speculation. But we haven't yet had a reward era. We're still waiting till Friday. So from Friday, once we start establishing what the APR and the return rate for indexes is, we might see a huge spike as they realize that this could be quite rewarding. I still made a claim for tokens in the Ether network. I transferred them from Polygon. No, your token. If you've claimed your tokens, they won't be lost. Tokens that are in your wallet are your tokens. So it doesn't. As soon as you claim your tokens from the airdrop and they're in your wallet, then they will never expire. If that makes sense. The expiry is to be able to claim them from the airdrop contract. Are you able to spend more time marketing? Unfortunately, yeah, a lot of our marketing team has been at events in the last week, which is probably why it's more quiet than usual. We're very fully focused on launching the network and getting things live. And that's potentially why you haven't been seeing as much marketing, is because we're focused on getting the mainnet launch, getting indexes online, getting RPCs active, and getting through all these other things around seekers, airdrops, public sale stuff. There's a lot of work happening at the moment that might not be as visible to you. Let's have a quick look through Discord, but I think there's a bunch of questions that are the same. No, nothing else. So yeah, I think that's most of the questions today, which is great. As always, there's many things that to join after this. Feel free to join our Discord. Make sure you're following us on Twitter for updates. We've got a really good blog with a lot of articles in there, a lot of well-written things. Please feel free to follow us, and it was a pleasure sharing with you this month our community call, the updates, what we've had, the roadmap that we've done, and our plan for the next few weeks. Excellent, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for joining in. Bye, everyone.